Chapter 1. Life of Ordinary Frustration. Aaron Blake sat in front of his computer in a small, cramped office, surrounded by bare walls and a cold neon light seeping through the low ceiling. The subdued noise of keyboards, the ticking of mice, and the indistinct buzz of distant conversations seemed like a constant background, like a white noise that never goes out. For Aaron, though, that sound had become synonymous with monotony and heaviness. His fingers skipped the keys without conviction, while the screen in front of him showed graphs and spreadsheets that, in the eyes of everyone else, seemed important. But for him, they were just an invisible wall, a maze of meaningless numbers that imprisoned him in an unbearable routine. Every day, every hour spent in that office, was one step closer to feeling completely useless. Aaron sighed and ran his hand over his face, rubbing his left eye where a thin scar cut through his skin like a thin, dark line. It was a vivid memory of an episode distant in time, a moment when his innocence had been broken. He still clearly remembered that summer morning when he had fallen from the swing to the playground as a child, crashing to the ground and leaving behind a trail of blood and fear. That scratch was not just a mark on his skin, but a symbol of the fragility that had always accompanied him. He had no one to share those thoughts with. His parents had died years earlier in an accident that had stolen all certainty from him and left him to sail the world alone. He had no brothers, no sisters, no close friends, only Jake, his childhood friend, with whom he had shared a dream of moving to Japan to change his life. But even Jake seemed distant at the time, increasingly immersed in his own personal struggles. He worked as a clerk in a small company in Tokyo, a job he didn't like, and that didn't stimulate his mind. His boss, a man who was brusque and without patience, did not miss an opportunity to scold him in front of his colleagues, pointing out every small mistake as if it were an unforgivable crime. Aaron felt that weight every day, a weight that crushed his chest and prevented him from breathing freely. The days went by without any real meaning, and his mind often wandered far away, seeking refuge in memories or dreams never fulfilled. He looked out the window, observing the hectic life of the city that never stopped, the people rushing, each with its own history and purpose. He felt like a shadow in that crowd, invisible, insignificant. In the evening, he would return to his small apartment, a cramped room with yellowed walls, an unmade bed, and a bare table where books and various objects would accumulate. It was his refuge and his prison at the same time. Sitting on the floor, he often found himself staring into the void, trying to dispel that feeling of emptiness within himself. That day, as he walked home after a long day at work, a sudden thought struck him like lightning. If only I could stop time. Aaron's mind was a whirlwind of emotions: anger, frustration, fear. He wanted to escape, to take a break from the world, to stop everything for a moment. And just at that moment, as he was crossing a busy street, life seemed to be really slowing down. The roar of the approaching car accelerated absurdly in his head, but everything froze around him. People around him froze like wax statues, the car suspended a few inches from his body. Aaron stood still, his heart beating wildly, his mind in a mixture of panic and disbelief. He couldn't understand what was going on. It was as if his body had made an incredible gesture without his control, as if it had ignited a long-hidden power. He tried to move, to talk, but everything was suspended, motionless. For a long moment, the loneliness became total. Aaron was the only being alive in a